Good morning to all. Welcome to the seminar series of Prism 2 batch of MIL. I am Biswajit Padhi and I am from Odisha. I have completed BTech in Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering. And then I am going to talk about a seminar topic called Combating Insider Threat. I am going to talk about a nice seminar topic, that is Combating Insider Threat. Let's start. Its content part. First, it contains what is the introduction of insider threat, then characteristics of malicious behavior, then what are the internal threat to an organization, then statistics, then there are some case studies. After this combating process, at last conclusion. Introduction. What is an insider threat? Insider means within a premises and threat means a unwanted outcome for an organization. Most of the organizations nowadays implemented defense to protect against external threats like viruses, worms. They are commonly using antivirus software and firewalls to protect against these external threats. But too much focus on external threats can cause overlook to the more dangerous and costly threat, that is insider threat. Insider threat is a damage done to an organization by an trusted person to an trusted area of an organization. And the threat is a very common, insider threat is a very common threat to an organization, and it is not 100% technically. It both belongs to process and technology. Then we will show what are the characteristics of malicious insider behavior. First, they should technically competent to highly skilled, means high knowledge of technical, then attempts to cover up, destroy evidence so that no one can catch him. Then sophisticated search, hard knowledge of search techniques, how to search, what to search. Then abuses security clearance to gain access to information. Violence need to know. Every organization have a policy that is need to know. Need to know means what the necessary things need to know to complete a job. And malicious insiders are always try to abuse this policy. Then downloads data to new devices, for example pen drive, so that no one can get evidence what a malicious insider did. Encrypts data so that organization can face a big problem, and changes systems logs to hide activity. By changing the logs, auditor cannot find that what a insider did in systems. Then what are the internal threats? Internal threats are commonly delete a file or changing a file or copy to a pen drive. That are threats that can damage to an organization's security process. There are fundamental security principles: confidentiality, integrity, availability. Confidentiality means not to disclose. Integrity means not to modify. Availability means always available to the authorized user. And insider attacker can threat to these security principles. Then statistics. A survey done by Computer Security Institute, and he concluded that 70 to 80% of threats come from within enterprise. Means insider threats are 70 to 80%, and 20% are other threats like terrorism and earthquake, natural threats. Then majority of insiders are privileged users, and majority of attacks are launched from remote machines. Most of the attackers are from trusted persons of organization, employee, former employee, consultants, contractors, temp, like that. And majority attacks are launched from remote machine. Attackers sitting outside the organization and makes attack. Then insider problems exist today within critical infrastructure. Within military, telecommunication, energy domain, the attacks are most because they can the loss will be big within this domain. This is Infowar security survey done on 2003. We got that Trojan viruses, worms, and other malicious code threats are 84% to an organization, and unintentional unknown employee errors are of 77%, and hackers threat are 72%, and insider threat is 61%. 61% cyber terrorism is 45%. We get that insider threat is nearly equal to Trojan malicious code, unintentional employee error, hackers. Yes, this is survey report on 2004 to 2006. Percentage of participants who experienced an insider incident. In 2004, there were 41% of participants who experienced an insider incident, and on 2005 it decreased 2%, that is 39%. Then at 2006 it increased much more, that is 55% of participants who experienced an insider incident. There is a case study. Government contractor, an IT professional at a military base, learned she will be downsizing, and she decided to encrypt large parts of organized database and demanded $10,000 of money from system admin, and system admin agrees before consulting proper authorities. Then what are the prevention and detection of insider threat? What are the combating process of insider threat? We will see. First is Institute of Periodic Enterprise-wide Risk Assessment. Risk is the combination of threat, vulnerability, and impact. And organization need to develop a risk-based security to protect against external threats and internal threats. And an organization cannot implement 100% security to any type of threat. And then second point is enterprise-wide risk assessment. This is done to point out what are the important resources to an organization and what are the threats to that assets, resources. Then use result of assessment. After investigating what are the threats, use this result of assessment to improve, to refine the strategy of security. Then practice 2 is institute periodic security awareness training for all employers. Identification malicious insider by behavior. Awareness training should ensure that how to identify malicious behavior within an organization and how to report, what are the process. And training should include auditing access to customer record. To give security to customer information, auditing access to customer record is important. Then separation of duty. One person, there must be separation of duty between customer accounts modification and who approve this, and using secure backup to secure the data of information. Practice 3, enforce separation of duties and least privilege. Dividing functions among people. Separation of duty includes dividing function among people so that one person can make fraud without support of another employee, and he can easily cut. Then separation of duty implicates least privileges. Least privileges includes authorized user to a resources need to do a job, and least privilege is all used to protect the confidentiality of data. Then access control based on separation of duty and least privilege. This is must to mitigate an insider threat. Then implement strict password and account management policies and practices. Malicious insiders always try to compromise accounts. And they always try to password, tracking the password, and knowing the password by social engineering. Then there should be a password policy and procedures which recommended that password should be strong. Password, the user should not share the password, or password should be changed periodically. And employee should report. If an employee gets that his account has been compromised, then the employee should report to the management or information security team to detect fraud. And use extra caution with system administration privileged users. Malicious insiders held technical positions. Majority of insider attackers are from technical positions. And various methods to concealing malicious activity. There are various methods to concealing malicious activity that are logic bomb, then planting viruses, then creating backdoor accounts so that to bypass the authentication to make fraud. And higher access level comes with higher risk. For example, system administrator, privileged user having higher privilege access than the common user, and there are more risk that they can make fraud to an information system. The non-repudiation techniques should use. Non-repudiation technique shows that what a user did and who the user, how to detect, and the user cannot deny that he did not do that. Then practice 6. Monitor and respond to suspicious or disruptive behavior. Evaluating and background check. Within an organization, background check and evaluating the individual must be a necessary process. Background checks include what are the criminal convictions of the employee, what are the past employment of the employee. An organization should invest time in training. Organization should invest time and sessions to make aware that how to detect insider, malicious insider, how to complain that malicious activities. Policy and procedures must exist so that the user can know how to mitigate the threat, how to complain the management team. Then deactivate computer access following termination. While employed, the employee gets employee has legitimate legitimate access to the information system, to the organization, to the file system. And while the employees keep the company, there should be a termination procedure so that he cannot access after skip the files information. The remote access must be disabled because most of the attacks are gone from out of the organization. So remote access must be disabled. Then implement secure backup and recovery process. Effective backup and recovery processes need so that after some incident happen, how to get the organization can easily get the information of their employees or their customers, their clients. Then system admin should ensure physical media on which the backup data are stored, and system admin should protect from outside user, outside employee. Then there is conclusion. A reasonably secure infrastructure is achievable. Must view a security as a process. They should daily implement and evaluate the security process of an organization. Then embrace technology and use it. Embrace means within a domain, technology should use and be consistent throughout the enterprise. Well known to the enterprise. Then consider entire business process, not the just the transaction component. Employees should know whole business process. What are the business processes within an organization? Think about security from an enabling standpoint versus inhibitor. Standpoint means a mentally thinking what should be, and versus an inhibitor. Inhibitor means what practically stops you. Be proactive. Don't wait for a problem to occur or it will. Proactive means take precautions before an incident happens, so that you can mitigate the threats. Thank you.